how old lawns used to be laid out with the plastic netting underneath, thinking that they would prevent gophers from biting through plastic netting. So if it's still there, there's no easy, simple way, and you'll always have remnants because it does break apart. Also, if you try to remove your lawn with a sod cutter, it can choke things up. You could do the hand method if you wanted, but it depends on the size of the lawn. But this can be done for whoever still has a lawn, if you'd like to do this, manual or mechanical. But the challenge here is that it does disturb the soil. And so as we've learned over the years, is that soil is the basis of everything. You feed the soil. If the soil is healthy, your plants will be healthy, unless they're planted in the wrong place. So this is, have you ever dug up in your garden and you find white strings or like white hyphae? And at first it's kind of shocking. You think, I've got fungus in my soil. But in fact, what this white stuff is, this is the root of the plant, the yellowy, orangey thing, whereas the white stuff is mycorrhizae, and it's a healthy fungus. It actually has a symbiotic relationship with the plant itself. How many people know this already or have heard this already? Okay, yeah. So what this organism does, is it attaches to the root of the plant, which the root of the plant has a limited amount of area that it can go to get its nutrients and its water. So the mycorrhizae attach itself to those roots, and it can go for a very, very long while. It brings water back to the plant, and the plant supplies the sugars to the hyphae for its own nutrients. So they love each other dearly. So when you dig up your soil and you see this white stuff, put it back gently so it can continue to do its job. If you're planting something new and you dig it up, then plant your new plant and gently water it back in and tuck it back in so it can reestablish with that new plant. That's one way to remove your lawn. And I'm sorry for the person who did. This is something I designed, but the homeowner was always trying to undercut the cost of everything. So the guy he ended up hiring to do this 8,000 square foot lawn, that's larger than a typical residential whole property. The poor guy did it by one of those machine sod cutters, but it was really, this is Monte Sereno, and it's by Los Gatos, and it's really hot there. And so he had to do this whole 8,000 square foot basically manually. It turned out okay, except I feel sorry for the guy. What we ended up doing is basically like a personal park in that area. They had originally put that 8,000 square foot in because they had two sons and they were all going to play football every day, but they didn't do that. So, and the water bill was way high, so we turned it into planting beds and walkways and sitting areas with drought-tolerant native plants. So depending upon the size of your place, it doesn't have to be 8,000 square feet, but you may have just the right situation where you can create a meandering walkway with planting beds, little water fountain, maybe little water feature. So of course we don't have to replace it with native grasses. You can do different creative things. To get rid of the lawn, you could also solarize with black plastic or clear plastic. Different people like them different ways. This homeowner did it before we started designing together for the garden, and she forgot to overlap the plastic. I know, but she was great anyway. So there was still, we did a lot of planting beds in this garden as well, but the real pernicious weeds were the ones that kept coming up. But you fight them for a year. This goes for oxalis too. For a year, the first year, you pull and pull and pull and pull, and you reduce the root bank as well as the seed bank. by doing that as much as you can. And then it's, each year it gets lighter and lighter. So then this is what it looked like once we got things going.
I have a question. Does
Yes?
solarization harm the soil?
That's,
Does it kill off?
yeah.
And did it, in this case, did you find a difference in growing afterwards, or did you have to add something?
Because we put in mounded planting beds, we brought in new soil, healthy organic soil. And so what that did, besides being able to plant into a healthy medium, it also started the process for the soil that had been devastated of any healthy organisms. And it helped the process restart itself.
So you don't recommend using the solarization?
No, for another reason. It's quick and hot if you can do it in the summer, but also when you're done with the plastic, landfill, but other people have said, yes, but those are, I used hefty bags, so I just used them for my garbage. Well, so yeah. So within here, the dwarf coyote bush is back here, the green. I know the color, the brightness may be difficult now, but good solid green. Dwarf coyote bush is male. There's no female dwarf coyote bushes. So whatever little flower it tries to put out, it's minimal. So it's basically green all the time. There's no female fluffy flowers. Coyote mint, lots of coyotes here. This purple Monardella villosa, really nice shrub that gets about 2 feet high. It does get scruffy. It's from the chaparral community of plants. And what I like to do is, as the season dries it out more and more, so right about now, it's starting to look pretty scruffy at the base. There's still some green at the bottom, so I'll do successional pruning. So I'll prune stems down to the first green leaf and leaving others that have the bloom still on. So that green can start greening up again. It is an evergreen plant. It adapts itself to the dryness by drying out. Plus it will leave the flower heads on that can turn to seed heads for seeds, protein for carbohydrates for the birds especially. And then California buckwheat is back here, along with, purple needlegrass there, California buckwheat here. So this is, in summer, so the buckwheat is still got a good white on it. I really, really like that plant. I like to use it a lot. Very, very good pollinating, attracts pollinators quite a bit. You could also sheet mulch with either newspaper or cardboard and water it in and wait for it to do some suppression, or water it down and plant right away. Just cut right into the paper, cut right into the cardboard, and put your plant in the ground. Usually, if you've got 5-gallon plants or bigger, plant those first and then place your newspaper or your cardboard around those. If you have the 1 gallons or 4 inches, it's easy to cut in. So then with cardboard sheet mulch, basically you've got your soil, you've got your weeds or your grass that could already be there without removing them. They could still be live. And then you've got your barrier, which is the cardboard. And then you put some compost on top, plant your plant in, put the couple of inches of compost, and then 3 or so inches of mulch. So that makes it quite a thick lasagna. And if you plant little plants and you put the mulch right up to here, because there's so much of it, and too thick of compost, you could easily rot out your small little plant. So you have to be careful, whatever size or type of plant you've got, to give it some air around its neck. Generally, if it's a woody plant, you want to leave some space where the soil contact is, because that wood is what will rot easily. But also, if it's a small perennial that's gentle and here you are dumping stuff on it, it also can be difficult. So you can raid your neighbor's recycle bin, but you might want to ask them or let them know at least what you're doing first. So this is a small project in Redwood City. The homeowner wanted to do. He just let his grass die. I think some of you have done that already, yeah. And then, then he just stopped watering it, and it was a dry season, and it was summer, so it was nice and hot, but he had some good shade as well. Then what he did is put the cardboard sheet mulch, and he did raid his neighbors' recycling bins, top dress with arbor mulch, and just let it wait until the rains began. And already by that time the cardboard had started to break down, which also helps feed the soil. And then it was soggy from the rains, he planted in, and he reused the mulch to put back on. And this is kind of hard to see, but Salvias Bethaceae, or the hummingbird sage, right in front, and then just all different shrubs and wildflowers are out there. So perennials, small shrubs, because it was a small front yard. And finally, if you have a larger area and you need to sheet mulch, they do sell now, and it's more readily available, is rolls of cardboard that you can roll out into the sections. They sell corrugated usually, but uncorrugated, if you can get it, is better. It's been said that the spaces within the corrugation with moisture can promote fungus, but everybody's using the corrugated too, so and with fine results for now. So I don't know about that. So you roll it out, plant it up, water everything in, lay your drip irrigation, put on your compost, put on your organic mulch, and let things start growing. This is meadow sedge with an edging of PCH iris, or Pacific Coast hybrid, not Pacific Coast highway iris, so that it was a small front yard, small backyard grass area, and then just edged with the iris. So it was partial shade, and just enough sun in the grass area that the grass was extra happy.